Hi, everyone. I know that the giveaway is happening right now, but that doesn't mean that our deals have to stop. We have to keep the ball rolling. So thank you for joining me today, Erin. I know that, I think it's been a week since our last webinar, but I'm
Yeah.
excited to catch up with you and, to talk about Cloudmattr. Of course, you mentioned that Cloudmattr is way more than, automation. It's an awesome customer engagement platform. So today, let's catch up to speed with you and, what we can look forward to with Cloudmattr with the new features, new roadmap, and all the other things. So welcome back, Erin. I hope you're doing great. I hope you have your cup of coffee.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Yes. I think for a good update so far right now is we are about to launch the checklist feature. So
Mm,
I can kind of try to share my screen real quick and
all
start
right,
kind of talking
sure.
about it. But if people are familiar with onboarding, platforms where like
Mm,
in-app checklists starts popping up so your users can get onboarded, that's kind of
mm,
what I'm talking about here. So let me just get the right screen up. Let's see. Let me know you can see my screen.
all right. I think it's still loading, but while we wait, someone just said hi to us. So hi,
Hello.
I can't see your name, but
I think it
I
was
can't see their
June.
name, but
I think it was June. I saw something pop up where June mentioned me, but
oh, oh,
let's
Erin,
see.
it's not. It's there you
Oh, was
go.
that? Okay.
There you go.
There.
All right,
Can you see
great.
it? Okay. Perfect.
Yes.
Cool. So, so one of the things that I kind of wanted to mention, and again, this is a screenshot as it's not released yet, but it will be live on Monday next week, early next week. You should be able to see it. So this one is, it's using our JavaScript SDK. So like I said, this is kind of like one of those things that you can use for onboarding your new users, but you can do it for anything really, just to get again for the customer engagement. This specific example is, someone signs up to. This is going to be our actual our onboarding checklist. So here, you would sign up. It will, you'll be able to like trigger it. So, and actually, I'll show you the UI of like what it would look like when you actually create one. But here you would be setting it up. You create a checklist for like I called it, getting started. It would only fire for people that are new users. And then once when you sign up, and then here you start adding your checklist steps. First you want to I mean whatever we want you to guide. Here is like when you get set up your workspace, we these will be you'll be able to edit and add embed video. You can add pictures, you can add checklists. So it has a WYSIWYG, right, an editor, so you can do whatever you want there. So you can expand it. It'll show, like, let's say you have a video here, a YouTube video you want to embed, and you want to show someone how to get started setting up their account, or you can actually just link out with a button out to your knowledge base, which is what we have right now. Or so it really is up to you how you want to do it. It's very flexible and very customizable. I'll go ahead and then once so let's say in this case, just real quick before I go out of this, you can give them a ability to dismiss them if they really don't. They already know your platform, or they just don't feel like going through this. And they can also minimize it. So if once they minimize it, it looks something like this. So here they have eight steps that they haven't completed on the bottom right. It's very small, I know, but they'll be able
So
to
once
say,
they've, oh,
go ahead.
sorry, Erin. So like once they've completed a certain step, it's gonna lessen the number there, right? In the bubble.
Yes,
Oh,
exactly.
okay,
So
cool. All
so
right.
they have eight, right? And then right now, let's say add a sending domain. Well,
Mm.
once you go to the settings and you add one,
Mm.
it'll be a little green checkbox, right? A little checklist
Oh, that's
here.
great. Oh,
And
okay.
then and then when you minimize it, it will say seven instead, right?
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah. So and the goal obviously is to get the your users to, you know, do as much as they can, right? Like some of them
Mm.
they really they might need, some of them they might not need them. And it really is just it's not where they it's not the type of checklist that people can just check off and say, oh yeah, I did all this, like now stop showing it to me.
Yeah.
The whole point is like they actually have to do it, and then once they do it, there's nothing for them to do. It's just going to be checked off. And obviously, once
Mhm.
they do all of them, it'll just go away. And
Okay.
it won't show them anymore. So I can go real
Mhm.
quick on creating a checklist. This is so let's say in this case, the checklist is right here. We call it, again, this is called getting started. You can the same thing with the way you can set up campaigns. You have a trigger that will enable it. Right now we have, let's say for this one that we're talking about, it's a sign up.
Mhm.
You get filtered if you have any properties for the event. But we just care if you're a new user. There you go. That's all we need to do. Here you have the conditions of like where you want it to fire. For example, let's say I only wanted to fire it when you're in the admin side of things, right? So maybe I would go specific pages and then I say, contains, app dot, cloudmatter.com, let's say. That way it doesn't fire when you go on our knowledge base or something like that. Or if you only wanted to do some, so it's really flexible that way. But I'm just using all pages, and then again, the same thing with as campaigns. You can select what segment you want to use, what people you want. Let's say you want to exclude, I don't know, uh, existing subscribers or something like that. So, and then here you get customizable with everything in the. This is not hard coded, or like the colors, the everything really. So you can change, like the button color, like when you expand this as a screenshot. But you'll be able to see that the text in the button, the progress bar here, the little white. So this I forgot to mention. So this will progress
Oh, that's
as you
cool.
start
It's like a
completing it.
little, yeah, it's a little
Yeah,
loading bar.
yeah. Yeah, exactly. So it'll be a little green
Yeah,
there, obviously, or well, whatever color you pick, right? This
yeah.
this will be the background color. So let's say, sorry, I'm getting a scan call. So let's say you wanted a white background, right? And then you want the progress bar to be red.
Mhm.
You can always just click here and then you put, you just do like that.
Oh, that's
Um,
cool. That's
and then
just
the
like a
primary,
small detail.
yeah, and it's that way you can customize it with a like I did the same color that we have our side
Mhm.
menu is the same color we're using there, but you can, let's say you are, whatever the color is that you want to use. In this case, let's say this is the color that we're talking about, the primary color. It'll be that little purple, like it'll be blue here, right? But for now it's purple. So let's say you have a very light, you want to have all white, and then you want to have the red bar. It'll be a very standout red or something like that. And the
Mhm.
title obviously is getting started. So this will get a lot. This will, and then for the font, you can just click inherit. That's what I'm using, and it'll just use whatever your website uses. That
Mhm.
way, it's really easy for it to blend in with your. So it looks really like it looks like it's native to your website, and you're not
Mhm.
using any other external service.
For
So
the
this will.
fonts, are they, oh sorry, for the
Oh,
fonts,
sorry.
are they able to upload their own fonts to it, or is it just the ones in the system?
Yeah. So for now, we just have this, and the plan is
Mhm.
to over time is to add Google Fonts, and
Mhm.
then also to upload your own fonts.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, but for example, the if you want to use your own font, you can just click inherit, and
Mhm.
it'll use your font.
Okay.
So if I don't know if you can tell, but this font is like the same font as the actual site.
Mhm.
It just matches it. So that's a checklist, and then the steps. So for example, here, we have, what is it, the setup, setup. So let's just do setup. Oh, there it is. So we do setup, and then here we can do. This is kind of the goal, right? Where like the little checkbox. So if you wanted to like say set up, I don't know. I mean, maybe an easier one. Like we're using clicks or anything, but let's say we want to say, we want to fire one. It's a campaign created. So as soon as you create a campaign, that checkbox will, for us at least, all these are all custom events for us. If you had your own event like Leap, whatever, like Slack created a workspace, created a channel, it would show up here, and then you can get really customized and use a property. The same thing again with S campaigns. And then here's really where you are able to start adding all the content for the that's going to be expanding here when you click on it. On here you can just I think like I did like I can do a video and just where's the video thing? There it is. Yeah, so I just click and then add my video, and then boom, I have my onboarding a step, and then here for the button, I could just say edit workspace, and then I put a URL there for the current yeah, and then that'll send the user to wherever you want them to go. So that, and then I just keep adding and adding and adding and adding, and then here's the order. I can reorder them. Oh, well, I clicked on it. Why is it onboarding? Again, this is going live on Monday, but so I guess we have a little bit of closing out on this one. But yeah, you'll be able to
It's all right.
re-drag it and drag them, and then that way you can, that way you don't have to like delete it and then create a new one at the bottom if you, for whatever reason, you want to test, like maybe the second step you want it to have the fifth one or whatever you want to do. And yeah, you can just remove them, whatever if you don't want them. So that's the checklist. Pretty straightforward, I think. Um, and do you have any questions other than that?
So far none. I think that was pretty straightforward to me. Oh, another thing, what I remember, I think the last time someone asked about the sidebar being on the right side, so it's more of like the interface. Would that be possible? I think I remember someone asked last
Uh,
time.
I don't think I saw that. What do you mean, like
I
the
like the
segment
side
here?
menu. Yeah,
This one being
yeah,
on the right side here,
yeah, on the right side.
or like right to left? You mean
Yeah, right to left. Yeah,
like if they
yeah,
like I think like Arabic? Is that what you mean?
yeah. Oh no, not Arabic. More of it's just on
Okay.
the right side rather than on the left side.
Oh, I mean, we don't have anything yet really that's
Mm,
been planned out where we can change or work or customize the actual user interface within the app.
mm,
Again, I feel like yeah, if someone wants that, I think that they can add it to the board and submit it. And if that's something that we can prioritize for sure, yeah, that I mean that I don't think that would be a crazy thing if people needed it, or for if they wanted like to work that way.
yeah.
But yeah, and then I think that's kind of like the new request. I mean, the new request, the new feature that's going out Monday, um, and it'll be ready to be used again for user purposes. And yeah,
Mm,
so and then for the, I guess I can go over to the roadmap that we have right now. Um, so here in the word, it's starting. It started like this week. So here for the, I think I mentioned it to you before. So this will be right now. Our campaigns, allow you to create a campaign for email, but then you can also create a campaign for in-app. So and then the goal, I think I had mentioned it as well, that we're planning, and it's in review, that we want to be able to communicate with. We want to enable companies to connect with their users no matter what format. So right now, you email it in-app while you're in their website, but we also, what about if you want to like do any communication through text messaging? We have this here for the SMS, and then another one is for push notifications. So for mobile, so that I feel that we'll be able to like touch both the email or the website, but also their actual mobile device, if that's something that you need to connect with your users. So the thing that we're kind of really working on is to prepare for that, is kind of changing up the way that the campaigns work. And
mm,
I've already gone over like how to build a campaign, but right now campaigns only enable you to do email to email, or email
mm.
message and then another email message for a follow up. But we want to be able to say, okay, now we'll, we're gonna. So let me just click on this real quick. I'll open it up. We want to be able to say, okay, well, we're gonna send it over to email, and then send it over to in-app, and then also for the third touch point, we're gonna send a SMS message,
Yeah.
and then for the seventh touch point, it's a push notification for their to their
Mm,
iOS, or their uh, their
mm,
phone. So one of the things here is that the campaign. I mean, this is just a screenshot to show the example that of what it might look like.
Mhm.
and I'm sure a lot of people are familiar with something like this. There's a lot of applications that use a flow chart, right? A flow builder.
Yeah.
So it's the same concept here, right? It's very easy to understand that the input is the trigger, right? It's like what I mentioned, a new user, they click on the button, they purchased. So this might be, let's say, this is an onboarding again example. The input is the new user or user sign up. Then let's say the node three is if we want to send it to only users that have if we're collecting the attributes or the properties, we only want to send it to people that have that are aged over 50. We want to send them
Yeah.
a specific SMS campaign. But if they're under 50, we'll send them an email. So you can do testing like that where you have
Mhm.
you want to specifically target different people in different ways. And then the follow-ups again, it goes down. Okay, now we're going to do a follow for this node. It's going to go into mobile or SMS or anything like that. So this is kind of like the way that we want to like go into to be able to support a lot of very um, custom journeys that users want to build for
Mhm.
their new users or their customers. Um, do you have any questions on that? Sorry, I know
No,
it's
so
very
far.
basic and
Yeah.
it looks
No, no,
very
it's
like
okay.
there, but that's kind of like the thought process behind
No,
it.
it's okay. I think,
Yeah,
for a lot of people that are looking right now, this is something that they can easily understand as well. So that's great. Um, if I had more questions, I think I would be more confused, like if I were just looking at it, but everything's clear to me so far.
okay, perfect. Yeah, yeah. I didn't know exactly how to like. I mean, I know this is like it's just more generic that way. It's like okay, it can apply to really anything, right? It can apply for re-engagement to
Yeah.
onboarding to maybe after post purchase. Let's say you want to upsell
Mm,
someone, right? This can be a purchase as the input, and then here we want to like segment people that spent over $50, but then we
mm,
want to also we'll want to send a different campaign or a different message to someone that purchased over $500, and they're going to
yeah.
get a different let's say you have different coupons that you want to like offers that you want to follow them up with, and you want to give them a 10% off if they purchased
Yeah.
under 50, but you want to give them a 25% off. Something, obviously there's so much you can do, but yeah,
Yeah.
that's kind of what the purpose is here is. There's a lot of control.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
exactly. And I was gonna say that because a lot of people, it's just like a lot of the companies really they just send it out to everyone, but this one can really what's called you can really
segment out,
refine.
right?
Yeah,
It's
you can
really targeted,
segment out
right? The segments that we talk about all
exactly.
the time. That that's
Yeah,
and that's really
exactly.
the thing that the dynamic segments that we've discussed is really the way that this is all
Mm,
powered, right? That's the whole that's
yes,
why it's so important to collect the data the right way. It's accurate. You
yes.
update it frequently right from your website. That way, whenever you do build campaigns or checklists or anything like that,
Mm,
it's all sending to the right person.
yeah. Yeah, like
Um,
what you mentioned before, earlier, where it was like if someone's aged 55 and above, maybe they would prefer like an email rather than someone who was 55 and below. And that really makes sense
yeah.
because it reminds me of my mom, and she's like, whenever she receives like a message, she's like, "Can you just check it for me?" Because I don't
Yeah.
really.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she'd
You know your audience. You're like, yeah, people over a certain
exactly.
age, they don't, they're
Yeah,
not gonna like check their mobile app.
yeah,
Like
yeah. They'd rather have
I
like an
see.
iPad.
Yeah, yeah. Like, and then they don't open their like their Android notification,
That's
but
true.
they might open their email, or
Yeah,
obviously that's where you kind of like start doing testing and you
yeah,
find out what's right for you. But yeah, exactly right.
yeah.
That's exactly right.
It's
You
really
get
important.
control, and you do you deliver the right message to the right way
Yeah.
and to the right person. Um,
Exactly, and that's like, efficiency.
yeah.
Oh, you've got a question here from Vincent Robert. How does Cloud Matter compare to In Charge?
I guess that I believe they are um, email, and I think that's it. on top of that, they do some email stuff that I understand, email marketing, or marketing automation. And
Mhm.
for us, we're more of a customer engagement platform where you're trying to get, even though, yes, part of it is marketing automation, use cases are different because we're trying to, like, have multiple communication pathways to a user. Like I mentioned, in the screenshot on the screen that I'm showing, we started off with email, which is what I believe Encharge supports, but we also support in-app already. So if you wanted to show like a little pop-up here for, again, a specific segment of users, and then later on we're going to have SMS and push notifications. So it's not the same thing. Well, in one case, the marketing automation is a similar use case, but what it does is much different. Again, we also do have checklists, like I mentioned a few minutes ago. So I don't believe InCharge supports any of that stuff since it's specifically made for marketing automation. And marketing automation again is part of what we do, but much more. We also, we have the roadmap that you're looking at like right now, the boards for each feature request or any sort of a user submission that you want to collect information about your users, the knowledge base that we have. So there, I think that, unless I'm missing anything else, we also, like, for example, because I saw the AppSumo email, so I looked at that, and I believe they don't support IFTP, so you can use your own email server. Uh, there's uh, there's a few other things I'm trying to think if there's anything different that I also can highlight on top of that. But I think I covered for the most part everything. We also, I believe that I'm not sure. Actually, I'm not an expert on Encharge, but we
Yeah.
have the I can't exactly highlight every single thing that we have different.
That's true.
Sorry, but
You're
we have
talking
the
on behalf of Cloud Matter.
yeah, exactly. So I think
Yeah.
those are the because I did look at their website. So those are the highlights that I think I can call out right now.
Mhm.
And you can ask me like, oh, Enchurch has this. If you also want to, like, clear it up for me, maybe you already know some things that Enchurch has that or
Mhm.
doesn't have that maybe we have, or we're going to be working on later on. Because again, these are the things that right now we're in review, but we have a backlog of all the other things that we want to work on. But again,
Mhm.
you think about Cloudmattr as a customer engagement platform, that and part of customer engagement is obviously marketing automation. And I think
Mhm.
Encharge is solely focused on marketing automation only, and
Mhm.
that's why we have onboarding checklists. We have multiple, again, I mean, I won't like keep repeating it, but that's really what we're going for. Is like, yeah, we're trying to cover the entire user journey between a business and a customer or a user.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that was already I think ever since we did the webinar launch, we really did highlight that it's more of, customer engagement and like making sure that every part of the customer journey is, you can really see it.
Yeah,
All right. So
and
hope
then
that answers.
what? So then for the next one, I guess I can cover the analytics. So this one is still early since we haven't finalized exactly what reports we want to enable. What things we want to allow users to be able to, like, break their data by and all that. But
Mhm.
so I'll just click on it, kind of what we have so far. And of course, I'd love to get people to comment in here and say, oh well, I also want this report, and then add it. That'd be great. But one of
Mhm.
the things here is, for example, we have the funnel report that we want to, something like example. So this is an example, something we might want to do, like where a user might say, for example, a checklist. These are the different steps that people are, that you built, and you want to see exact, if there's any drop offs, if people really don't feel like doing a 20 step checklist on your website, and you see a huge drop off onto step three, maybe there's an issue there that so there, and then for email marketing as well, for the emails, that campaigns, the push. Again, this is still early, but this is kind of where we want to start enabling people to see where you're seeing drop offs, where you're seeing conversions, anything like that. uh, and then the other one is, I think, what I had mentioned before to you guys, is the user journey report. So for this is just a screenshot of an example, but it would be for pretty much allowing you to see like and those would have segments, for example. So let's say you have a you know lifetime value of $100 and plus, and then you want to see, and then you build a segment for people that have purchased under $100 a month or $100, and then you'd be able to see, okay, well, how do they behave differently, right? Usually you'd have to like pull the data out, you know, create your own like data, put your data, you join your data, and then you start like charting it, and building it somewhere. Here, it's going to be automatically being built out for your users. Um, and for example, let's say you have a mobile app, so you're using the SDK, the API, I mean the server side API for us. Whenever someone installs an app, you send an event, and then you also, from there they go to sign up. Then from there they go to maybe they create let's just go with Slack. They maybe invite you a user, or they create a channel. Let's say a lot of them. This is a group of let's say you have 100 users, like 40% of them create a
Oh,
channel, and then from the channel they go to invite a user, and then from there they go purchase or subscription. All that whatever journey is for each user or each segment,
mm,
and the journeys that they're taking. That's kind of like the goal here. That way you can see, okay, where is that where how are the segments behaving, and
yeah.
what actions are they taking to get to the purchase, right? I mean, or whatever the action, the goal you want your business for, right? Maybe it's lead generation, maybe it's purchase, subscription, whatever it is. um, and the goal is here to for you to be able to see, okay, the people that actually, yeah, and then this will inform you as well for like building out checklists, right? Like if you want to build if you see that a lot of people purchase only if they, and in this case, if they maybe if they once they invite a user, you notice that a lot of percentage of people always subscribe because they are able to
Mhm,
work with their team, and they're able to really engage with their website or application, and then that's a successful journey for them. Where then you can focus on your
mhm,
checklist to really help users um, invite their team members, and make sure that that checklist really covers that. That way, it's one additional thing you can do to make them more successful, and then maybe that user journey chart or a report will improve over time, and you start seeing that kind of thing.
mhm,
Yeah, that's just a basic example of wanted to mention out.
mhm. Okay. All
And
right.
then so that's
Awesome.
what we
I
have
think
so
it's really
far.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think and again, this is just the little example, but for example, there might be like a drop down here that says segment, and you
Mm,
click each you have 100 segments or 50 segments, and one of them is again, males and females could be one segment if you have that information.
mhm,
Or whatever you do that is a segment, you want to break it down. That would be it would be a different journey for different groups of people. So and
mhm,
this will inform you. Again, the whole purpose of this is to inform you on what campaign how you should build your campaigns, or how you can improve your campaigns based off of these segments, and that way you can, like, again, like what I mentioned, targeting people differently
mhm,
because of the way they behave. Because not no person is the same, and some people
mhm,
act differently than others, and some people really need a lot of email, a lot of text, or a lot of different communicate, a lot of different ways to connect to them. uh, they maybe some of them need more video, and you start pushing in-app campaigns, or
mhm,
checklists with video rather than text, or rather than a knowledge base. So it's so much that you can really start to do once you get the information that you need.
mhm.
So I think this one will be really helpful for users.
Yeah, it really will be. I mean, just having visuals. I know that a lot of people, instead of, seeing the numerical value or
Yeah.
just reading it, a lot of people are visual and they can really see the whole journey here. And I really appreciate that it's like, if it's like a smaller, it's thinner. So it's really cool. I mean, it's a bit blurry on my side because my eyesight's pretty bad, but
So there
I
you
can see it great.
go.
No, don't.
There you
Thank you.
go.
Thank you for
Yeah,
that.
there you go. So yeah,
Oh, that's really
exactly right.
cool.
Yeah, some people, again, if
Hmm.
your goal, let's say, obviously this example is showing that you can make multiple purchases. So this will make sense if like it was like maybe Sephora, right, or like
Yeah.
an app that you can make multiple times a purchase. And let's
Hmm.
say they install their application on Play on the Play Store, and then
Hmm.
they signed up to their program or their account, and then immediately, I mean, obviously normally they're not going to just immediately purchase, but some people do, right? Like, okay,
Yeah.
that's interesting that they just directly went to purchase. Who are this group of people? Who are they? Like, why did they
Yeah.
just immediately purchase? Maybe they were all, I really, obviously that's where you can like get into the data, but but then you're like, okay,
Hmm.
well, what about the people that that just go here and then reopen the app? Okay, now they reopened it again and reopened it. So it's like, why are
Hmm.
they just opening it 4 times, but they never purchased? Um,
Hmm.
so they're obviously interested, but they're not finding anything
Yeah.
useful in
Yeah.
your app, right? So that's
Hmm.
kind of where you're like, okay, well, let's find out what's going on here, and then you can try to find out like, oh, okay, we're showing these people like, uh, you know, I don't know, we're sending them emails on like women's offers, but they're like older, 60-year-old men.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, oh, that's why.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, that's a terrible example, but I'm just saying, like,
Yeah.
you're looking to find out what's going on with your users,
That's true.
and I think this will give a very quick picture, a big picture of what's
Yeah.
going on. Yeah,
It's
Mhm.
really cool.
Cool. And then, oh, there it is. And then I think this one came from Parker. It's pretty. It has no content, but it's just that being able to create multiple submissions within a board
Hmm.
when you're an admin. So this
Hmm.
one's just to make sure Parker knows that it's coming.
Shout out to
um,
Parker.
yeah. So this one, yeah, it'll just make it easier. You have a lot of existing submissions, and you want to just add
Hmm.
them within your board. So this one I won't get into it too much because it's pretty straightforward. And then for again, I had already mentioned this a little bit. Push notifications. We have them review for the short-term future kind of thing,
Hmm.
and then SMS again. So most likely, what we'd be allowing you to connect your Twilio, um, you know, API key, and then you can just send out text messages the same way you would be able to send out email campaigns. You'd be able to use our liquid templates, right? That I had mentioned before,
Hmm.
where you can customize and personalize everything you want. So this will just be again another format, the same thing as what you can do with email, you would be able to do it with push notifications
Hmm.
and with SMS um, campaigns or messages. Sorry. So I think those are pretty straightforward. It's just okay. You're
Hmm.
sending emails now. You're sending other different ways of messaging a customer. And then another
Yeah.
thing is like we want to look into is the localization of be able to be able to allow users that speak Spanish
Hmm.
use Cloudmattr. This is kind of like the first language that we're going to be tackling,
All
and
right.
then from there, obviously, depending on the audience that we notice
Yeah.
that people
Hmm.
might say, oh well, I want French or whatever, something like that. Then we can start looking into that. But for now, we'll start off with Spanish and go from there.
All right.
I think that's
So,
I mean, there's some other things, but again, these are like this roadmap only shows really what
yeah.
we have in review.
Hmm.
There's a few other things, that are like long term. But this is like the one, like for example, one of the things that I don't have here that I've already considered is like A/B testing. So for example, we go here. Here, for example, you want to add an A/B test where you can like send 50% of people that, or even if they're a different message variant. So some people say hi, hello, and then you want to test hi. You would be able to say that. So, hi, John. Hello, John. And then obviously see the metrics based off that. So that's kind of like one of the things that right now we want to like get the foundational features and functionality working. But I think one of the things, and again, this is the reason why we're moving into this type of format, is to allow for those like very custom like A/B testing. I think is one of those things that are going to really again boost the performance. But for example, we want to have the reporting enabled. That way, whenever because you can't really run tests if you don't know the data, that you don't have any data to report on and test on. So I think we want to like finish off what we have now, and then later on move into very you know features that can enhance what we have right now. So I think that's an example of something that isn't really in the roadmap yet, but it's one of those things that I'm already kind of like thinking about, like, okay, how can we help users perform better with their campaigns, with their, with what they're doing within for their business.
Okay, great. Actually, I didn't think you could like customize it even some more because when you were showing me the graph earlier, it's really customizable to the T as well. So it's really
Yeah.
cool. I like how you're constantly
Sorry.
thinking about it. Oh, are you okay? Make sure to drink more water.
Nope, there you go. Okay. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Sorry. For sure. Yeah. I think I'm already. Yeah. One of the things obviously that I think about is like, how would I use it? I haven't been doing this
Mm.
for a while. Oh, sorry about that. I went
It's okay.
down the wrong way. So yeah, so I think that one of those things like, okay, well, I'm thinking this might be a good idea. Obviously,
Mm.
just because I think it's a good idea doesn't mean it's great. But obviously, that's why I'll once it's more serious, I probably will add another column here for in the roadmap, and maybe
Mm.
I can do in consideration, and then I can that
Mm.
can be something that people can like actually vote in. Because for example,
Mm.
even though it looks in review like of course I want people to say, okay, yeah, this one sounds like a good idea, but maybe it's more clear if I could just say, okay, these are all the random things that I think might be a good idea, and then the ones we can start actually reviewing them. So I think that might be a good idea. But I think that right now this is kind of what we have. Um, and some of them are bigger than others. Like for example, this analytics and reporting is a major feature that it does involve a lot of stuff. So it might look like, oh, like this one is going to be a major release, just because it changes the way that all campaigns within Cloudmattr work.
Mm.
Um, but I think it's gonna make it a lot better than what we have right now.
Mm.
Again,
Oh,
the purpose for that platform is how can we, help others, improve their business. So obviously, I'm always thinking of how can I improve Cloudmattr. Um, so yeah, so that's why I'm like, okay, well, let's make it better, and let's make over time make it better.
of course. So you're always thinking about the people.
Yeah.
For the campaign workflow builder, when is that? When's the ETA for that? I'm trying to look into it, but I can't seem to.
Oh, it's right on the bottom right, left.
April 30, correct? I'm
Yeah,
missing. I'm
yeah,
missing.
that's
Okay,
the
good.
estimated. Again,
Mm.
if it changes, then I will update it there. But that's kind of like the plan for now. So end of
All
month,
right.
21
Yeah.
days, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So I think that covers most of it, really. And I think that was all very straightforward. So, of course, for the people who are watching, and of course, people that will be watching afterwards, the deal is still up on our website, saastronautics.com/cloudmatter. Make sure to get it. And of course, if you guys have any questions, make sure to hit up Aaron, and he's also in the community. So it's way easier for you guys to contact him as well. And of course, just, message him through the support on Cloudmatter. So for now, I'll have to close the webinar already because they've got a lot to work on as well. So yeah, thank you so much, Aaron, for your time today and showing us more of what's to come. And thank you so much for everyone that joined us in today and asked questions. So bye everyone, and bye Aaron.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye, Shannon. Thank you.